So post-match reaction of Tottenham nil, Bournemouth 1. Absolute disaster, I would say. We got completely outplayed, destroyed in terms of tactics, in terms of intensity, individual performance. Everything went completely wrong. We started the game, maybe the first minute we tried to do something, tried to start it well as the Frank team does usually, but we got coked with the 1-0 of Bournemouth immediately. That was the end more or less of our game, and it's strange because it's the 5th minute of the game and we didn't even once react to that. We considered the goal because if this is a post-match reaction, so I don't fully remember anything, but I think that was Spence a little bit too deep in that situation, and that kept Evan Nilsson in play, and he scored from that. After that, we had 85 even more minutes to get into the game, to try to change the game, to try to get back to the level that we want to play. Not even close. We lost basically, in my opinion, the first half was the worst performance that I've seen in a long time. We lost every single duel on the pitch, every single one. There was no pressure. The pressure was non-existent. They had easy time to get out of our pressure. On the other half, we couldn't string 3 passes together because of their pressure. Like they were pressuring Richarlison so well. Richarlison basically lost every time the ball, and we weren't able to breathe even one time. It's not even about playing against a low block. We got outplayed. That's it. We didn't even have the ball. They were really aggressive. They were playing high on the pitch, and we had no answer at all to that. On the left side, Brendan Johnson, absolutely useless today. I'm sorry to say it. He was not getting the runs in behind. He was not holding the ball. He was not letting us recycle the ball. Every time that the ball went to the left side, we lost the ball immediately, and they continue with the transition. I repeat, in midfield, Sarr was non-existent today. He wasn't able to recover one time the ball. He was dispossessed a lot of time. Too many fouls away. We lost the tempo. We lost the intensity. We lost the ideas that we had in the beginning of the game. No one knew what we needed to do. I repeat, Richarlison very frustrated since the beginning. He lost every duel against Senesi. The referee was not giving the fouls that he wanted, and today we saw the bad side of Richarlison, a player that provided basically nothing to the team. Midfield, Bentancur was really shy, not recovering, giving himself too many balls, was very wasteful with the ball, especially in the first half and when we needed him. Palhinha, in my opinion, was one of the few that was trying to do something, was trying to recovering some balls, but even himself didn't affect the game too much. Spence, I feel like defensively fine, but offensively very underwhelming, and I don't understand why, even though Porro was clearly heavily struggling against Semenyo, I don't know why when we have 50 minutes left and we need to search for a goal, we get Porro out. This makes no sense to me, as he's one of the few creative outlets that we have, especially because we put Matisse Tel and Richarlison in the end up front, but we didn't have anyone that could give them the cross. We tried one time with Spence with a crossing outside of the box, and Tel hit a very good first time shot that was almost a goal. This was embarrassing on every level, because even if we reacted a little bit in the end, we created some chances. That was not good enough, because Bournemouth deserved to be at least 3-0 up in this game. They had the chances to go 2-0 multiple times. Just a little bit of lack of quality didn't allow them to trash us completely. Semenyo, absolutely unplayable Semenyo. No one, Porro didn't had any idea of how to stop him, and even the rest of the team struggled so much. Man of the match by far, Guglielmo Vicario had at least 4 or 5 insane saves. He had a bad moment with his feet, but I can let him go away with it, because if it wasn't for him today, this would be an absolute nightmare. Everyone, like, the only positives in the end that I can get, Kudus tried in the beginning. In the first half, he was the only one that was trying. The problem is that in the second half, his decision making was quite bad, in my opinion. We had 2 or 3 situations with Kudus that could have been exploited a little bit better. The final pass was not there, but it's no excuse. Even if we scored one, it would be a scam. We would have scammed completely Bournemouth, because they deserve completely to get 3 points out of the lane. So humbling lesson for us. Humbling lesson, because so far coming to this game. Thank you so much, Chuck. So far, coming to this game, we had a lot of confidence. We beat Manchester City 2-0. We thought that we were a different Tottenham. We are not. We are the same old Tottenham that win 2-0 in a tough game, and then the game after at home against an easier opposition, we don't find our rhythm, and we can't replicate anywhere near the level of the performance that we had before. So two very good performances against Burnley and City, one absolutely dreadful performance against Bournemouth that put us a lot down in terms of confidence. Also, I can only imagine in the social media what is happening now, the panicking, and good thing that we got Xavi Simons, but is he enough? This is the question. Is Xavi Simons enough now after we saw what we saw today on the pitch? I feel like Xavi Simons can be enough, especially because today centrally we had no answer to Bournemouth. We didn't progress the ball once centrally. Palhinha obviously is not a progressor of the ball. Bentancur had so much trouble with the ball. Sarr was non-existent. So this was a game that screamed for a number 10, screamed for a presence in midfield that could maybe get past someone, that could have a very good control on the halfway. So someone that can create something, create superiority in the middle. We had nothing. We were too predictable. I don't know how we could have scored until Odobert and Udogie got on the left side, because I feel like Odobert and Udogie on the left side were a positive. The substitution were quite good, because Berbal changed the game a little bit. Tell was active, and he was close from scoring an absolute worthy. On the left side, Udogie and Odobert worked quite well, especially with the runs of Udogie and Odobert, the ability of Odobert to wait with the ball, to let people make runs. Because the problem with Johnson is that when you give the ball to Johnson, the ball to Johnson, it's over. Like, that's over. Like, he's trying to run as fast as possible, but he's not someone that will retain the ball, someone that will wait for the runs of your teammates. Like, and Odobert did that very well. Every time that he had the ball, he did the first dribble, and he let Udogie have the run. And I feel like Bournemouth were really in trouble for that, but it was way too late. It was around the 80th minute that we started doing that, and we created some good chances. So the positives are the players that didn't start. Everyone that did start, absolutely awful. Richarlison, I repeat, I am a huge fan of Richarlison, one of the biggest fan of Richarlison, but today was an absolute shambolic performance by him. He was also, in terms of body language, very bad. Every time that he had the ball, he lost the ball in the duel against Senesi, and you could feel that the more the minutes went, the more frustrated he was. He got a yellow. He was lucky maybe to not get sent off also. So that's not the level that we need from Richarlison at all. He had two very good games before this one, but this one absolutely awful. Also for Frank, this is a learning curve for Frank, because tactically he got outplayed, especially because it's the first time that we get 1-0 down, that we are 1-0 down in the game. So that's where a different kind of plan, a different kind of tactic should work. I was expecting from Frank to be flexible even during the game, but it looks like we don't have the individual players to change a lot the tactic, because I feel like we started with an idea, we got 1-0 down, Bournemouth reacted to that, and we panicked, because I didn't see any pattern, I didn't see any confidence in the player, I didn't see anyone trying to do something. The first shot was maybe in the late second half, absolutely embarrassing in front of our fans, absolutely embarrassing also in front of Xavi Simons. That is the first time that watched us. A lot of work to do. I feel like we thought that we were much better than what we are in reality. We are still the team that finished 17th last season, and this is a performance of a team that struggled last season heavily. So this is a performance of a team that really doesn't have the quality to compete for the top 4. 69 minutes, people in the comments are saying that was our first shot. That's embarrassing. I feel like for Thomas Frank, there is a lot to think. There is a lot to change. I feel like for Thomas Frank now is the time to give some hope and some confidence to Odobert on the left, because Johnson is a huge problem for us when we need to progress the ball. I feel like Destiny, we can't play without Destiny Udogie, as much as Jet Spence is an absolute brilliant defender. Destiny Udogie on the left help us so much more creating stuff and progressing the ball, as we saw when he came on the pitch. So there are a few things that Thomas Frank needs to work on. The midfield needs to change. is not possible to play against teams like Bournemouth at home without any creative outlet. This cost us massively because the only way that you can play against these teams if you can score first. If you can score first, then you can play with the midfield like this. If you don't score first, this game will be an absolute nightmare like it was right now. So a lot to change, a lot to improve. This season will be much tougher than we think. Not an absolute disaster overall in terms of what we can expect in the future, because Bournemouth is a very tough team to play against. The last 6 games that they played in London, they never lost once. This is the 7th games that they don't lose away against a London team. So it's a team that is very good away, but we weren't ready at all. We weren't ready at all. The worst thing is that all the good thing that we saw again with Frank in the previous games went out of the window because the pressing was absolutely pathetic. The chance creation was absolutely pathetic. We tried to play the ball long way too much, and we were too predictable in everything that we said. So bad day at the office? I hope so, because this can't be the norm. This can't be our level. I'm sure that we're much better than this, but today we have to take this defeat and we have to regroup. Next game we will have Xavi Simons. Next game I hope that we get another forward signing, because going forward we were absolutely dreadful. But yes, what can I say? Absolutely bad performance. The absolute worst performance with Frank, and I hope that this will be the worst performance that we will ever see under Frank, because this is not acceptable at all. So thank you so much, and see you the next time.